Hello CrossFit Inconceivable, welcome back to my garage here. We have another great adaptation of a classic hero WOD here. We're calling it ZoomANGIE, and it's going to be 10 rounds for time with a 60-minute cap of 10 kettlebell swings, 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 air squats. You just cycle through all those together. The actual hero WOD is called Angie, and it's for time of 100 pull-ups, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 air squats. So if you want to go do that instead, you're crazy, have fun. We're going to start warming up here for ZoomANGIE. Let me get my timer started. So first thing we're going to do is 30 seconds each of some different jogging variations to get the blood flowing. So in 3, 2, 1, we're going to jog in place. Just kind of shake the hands out a little bit. You can roll the wrists if you like. Maybe get some little arm circles. We're going to warm up the shoulders some more, but you never warm up too much as far as the stretching stuff is concerned. Halfway there on this. Nice easy jog. And then next we're going to go into some high knees. So in about 5 seconds we'll get high knees. 3, 2, 1. So high knees here, set your hands above your waistline as a target. Try to touch your hands every time. Get those knees above the waistline. If this is too intense, again, you can step it out instead. We've got about 15 seconds left here. Just really trying to activate all the muscles. Not necessarily sprinting yet, still warming up. Next thing we're gonna do is go to some butt kickers. So in 3, 2, 1, place your hands behind your glutes and just lift those heels to the glutes, trying to point your quads directly down to the ground. Again, you can step it out if the jogging is too intense. 15 seconds down. Use those hamstrings to pull the feet up. Next, we got some jumping jacks. 3, 2, 1. So, if your arms are hurting, you can come up this high. If you have a shoulder issue, of course, regular jumping jacks, you're gonna touch those hands above. You can step it out. You can even do some punches here. Lots of variations. That's 15 seconds down. Should be starting to breathe a little bit heavy now. Getting the blood flowing. We want to just be on the verge of sweating these warm-ups. All right, so relax. Next thing we're gonna do is some down dog to up dog rotations. So crawling yourself out to a plank position. I'll go sideways for you. We're gonna crawl out to down dog, and then we're going to roll over the tops of the feet and get up dog. So you want your quads off the ground here. We're just gonna get 6 total. So there's 1, here's 2. Nice and easy. Driving your head through the window of your shoulders. Here's 3. Here you want to kind of relax that low back. The down dog shoots your sacrum, your hips up to the sky. Here's 4. Nice stretch in the hamstrings. And the last one here, roll over those toes. Okay, come out of that. So next we're gonna do 6 each side of the Spider-Man or alternating low lunge, whatever you wanna call it. We're gonna plank and then bring one foot up, get a brief stretch, and then bring the other side. So there's 1 each side, we're gonna get 6 total each side. Nice gentle stretch. If you wanna start letting that knee float out to the side for a deeper hip stretch, you can do that. Here's 3 on each side. If you can, towards the end, start bringing that inside elbow down to the ground for a deeper stretch. You can do that as well. Just 2 more on each side. Here's 5. 6. And 6, okay. And the last thing we want to do for this active warm-up is some alternating Samson. So we're gonna take a lunge, reach tall, really focus on stretching the hip flexor. Keep the hips square, 6 each side here. Here's 1, 1. Square the hips up, push the hips forward. Make sure you step far enough forward that your knee doesn't go out over the toe. And then on your way back, push through the heel. What's that, 4 each side? It's hard to count and talk. We'll call this 5. One more round here. All right. So relax, shake that out. Now we'll go over the WOD a little bit. So the first movement is going to be kettlebell swings. Remember, those are a hip hinge movement. We've got some alternatives for this, but we'll go over the kettlebell swings first. So first thing you want to do is start with that kettlebell in front of you, so that when you pick it up, it naturally wants to come back behind those legs. Because if you pick it up from right here, then you have to kind of start the momentum. It's just an awkward movement. So keep a slight bend in those legs, hinge at the hips here, bring the kettlebell back, and then explode the hips up to get that kettlebell up overhead. If you have shoulder issues, you can do Russian kettlebell swings and only bring it up to shoulder height. If you want to make this easier, you can do an alternative of a bent over rows with an odd object. So basically you want to keep the legs mostly straight, hinge at the hips, straight back, and just bend over and do odd object rows. You can do it one side at a time on either side here. The important thing is that you're keeping that low back straight and really feeling the activation in the hamstrings and glutes. If you want to make it more difficult, you can sub those pull-ups. So next we have push-ups, and those are pretty straightforward. RX push-up, you're going to keep yourself in a plank position, bodies in line, down to the ground, 90 degrees with your elbows, and then press tall to extend. Of course, you can go down to the ground here with your knees to make it a little easier. If you're not even quite there yet, find a position on the wall and just get a gentle press out of your arms. I almost lost myself in the squat right here. And then for sit-ups, I'm going to use an ab mat. If you have a sweatshirt that you rolled up or a towel, you can use that as well. But what you want to do with these is butterfly those legs so that you're not using the hip flexors. Come down to the ground, touch the ground with your shoulders and arms, and then throw those arms to get your chest through the plane of the hips here. So here's a couple reps. Now if that's too much, some ways to make that easier. You can get some gentle crunches here. It's not quite the full range of motion, you're still activating the abs. You can do some leg raises, some scissor kicks. If you want to make it more difficult, go ahead and try some V-ups. Or if you have a rig, do some toes to bar instead and keep the reps the same. So next we have air squats. And of course the air squats, you want to focus on your fundamentals all the time. Feet just outside the hips, feet pointed just outside as well. So slight angle. And then we're going to start with that hip hinge movement like you're closing that car door with your hips. Hips go back and out and then down, keeping your chest tall, keeping your knees pointed outwards, stack over the toes, and then press up through the full foot. And then you want to be able to cycle these out, keeping the form here. Now if that's too much, you can find a bench and sit down to a bench and then stand up off the bench. You can do some lunges instead. If you want to make it more difficult, you can do a jumping action here, where you jump every time, or you can add some weight like me with a kettlebell to those squats. So I'd like you guys to get one practice round of 10 of each of the movements and then take a brief break. We're going to come back to that WOD. See you in a bit.